Adobe Express versus Canva. Which is better for your project? It's Chris Singleton from Style Factory here, the go-to resource for business app reviews. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through the key advantages and disadvantages of these two popular design tools. Stay tuned to find out which one is right for you. I'll start with the reasons to use Adobe Express and then move on to the areas where Canva wins. 1. Adobe Express is considerably cheaper. Adobe Express is much cheaper than Canva. Its monthly plan aimed at individuals costs $9.99 per month, while the Canva equivalent costs $15 per month. And its team seats cost just $7.99 per month, while Canva's costs $20. 2. It lets you export unflattened PDFs. Adobe Express lets you export unflattened PDFs. These are files that retain all the individual layers of your project and let you edit your work in other design software easily. Canva doesn't give you the option to do this. 3. It gives you access to more design elements. Adobe Express is more generous than Canva when it comes to providing you with stock images, videos, audio, and typefaces. On its paid plans, you get access to over 200 million elements. What's more, many of these come from Adobe's own stock library, which has a very high reputation for quality. 4. It's a better choice for AI-generated images. For me, Adobe Express is the better tool for generating AI images with. For a start, Adobe's AI model has been trained on content that the company describes as commercially safe, licensed content, Adobe stock images, and public domain material. This means that you can be pretty confident that using its output is relatively risk-free. Although using AI content produced by Canva should generally be fine, the company doesn't provide quite the same level of assurance here. And when I tried Adobe Express's AI image generator out, I was more impressed with it than the Canva equivalent. First, I found that Adobe Express generated images at considerably higher resolution than Canva did. And second, it gave me more controls for customizing my output. Key among these was an option to provide reference images to use during the image generation process, and the option to choose which AI model to use for creating my images. 5. It gives you access to more brand kits. Both Adobe Express and Canva give you really useful brand kit tools that help to keep your brand consistent across your designs. But while Canva caps the number of brand kits you can use quite tightly, Adobe Express lets you make use of an unlimited number on any paid plan. 6. Adobe's customer support offering is more comprehensive. Adobe lets you contact its support team easily by live chat and phone. But Canva restricts you to raising support tickets via a contact form, and this form is quite hard to find. Okay, so those are the key ways in which I think Adobe Express beats Canva. If you have any questions on anything so far, or if you prefer one of these tools to the other, let me know in the comments. But where does Canva outshine Adobe Express? Well, I'll come to that in just a moment, but first I'd like to invite you to give us a thumbs up and to subscribe or follow wherever you're watching this video. Okay, now let's look at the reasons you might want to use Canva over Adobe Express. 1. Canva is a more feature-rich tool. Canva gives you access to lots of features that simply aren't available in Adobe Express. These include tools for creating whiteboards, documents, and product mockups. It also gives you a huge range of AI features that don't yet have equivalents in Adobe Express. 2. It gives you significantly more templates than Adobe Express. A key attraction of using apps like Canva and Adobe Express is the library of ready-made templates they give you to simplify the design process. And Canva gives you a lot more of these, over 3.6 million to Adobe Express's 350,000. 3. It's much better for teamwork. When it comes to teamwork, Canva has a clear advantage over Adobe Express. This is primarily because it lets you share entire folders with team members, while Adobe Express only allows collaboration on individual designs. Canva also gives you more granular control over team roles and permissions than you get from Adobe Express. 4. It's better for working with video. Canva is a better tool for working with video. Its video editor is more powerful than Adobe Express's. It lets you work with more templates and transitions, and it's better for projects that involve recording yourself. Canva also lets you generate AI video, or automatically create highlight clips from video content you upload. Neither of these tasks can currently be performed with Adobe Express. 5. Canva lets you export SVG files. Unlike Adobe Express, Canva lets you export your content in Scalable Vector Graphic, or SVG format. SVG files are particularly useful for creating larger designs because they can be blown up in size without becoming pixelated. 6. It's available in more languages. Adobe Express and Canva both offer a range of account languages, meaning that users can set up the platform's interfaces to display in their own language. But while Canva can be used in over 100 different languages, Adobe Express works in just 27. Okay, so those are the key reasons I'd choose Canva over Adobe Express. Next up, my verdict on the two platforms. But first, a note to say that you'll find links to the free versions of both Canva and Adobe Express in the video description. These include a link to a special trial of Canva that unlocks all its premium features for 30 days. We may earn a small commission if you use our links, but this doesn't affect our impartiality, and your clicks help support our work. Okay, it's verdict time. So, which tool should you choose? Well, Adobe Express is a really strong option if budget, high-quality stock assets, unflattened PDF exports, and AI image generation are your top priorities. But I'd argue that Canva just about edges a win here. It offers more features, more templates, stronger video editing capabilities, and importantly, SVG exports. In particular, it's a better option for organizations, as its team collaboration features are considerably stronger than those of Adobe Express. So that's my take on the Adobe Express versus Canva debate. If you'd like to learn more about these tools, do check out our deep dive blog post comparison of them on the Style Factory website. Just Google Style Factory Adobe versus Canva to find out. If you enjoyed this content, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe or follow wherever you're watching this video. And finally, if you have any questions about Adobe Express or Canva, do leave them in the comments. We read them all and we'll do our best to help.